My aunt stood up at Grandma's 80th birthday party and raised her glass. "I want to thank all the grandchildren who made Grandma so proud," she said. "Vanessa, our brilliant lawyer, Tyler, our future doctor, and of course, sweet little Jamie and the twins." She sat down. I sat there, frozen. 26 years old, and I was invisible at my own grandmother's birthday party. My cousin leaned over to her boyfriend. She didn't even lower her voice. I mean, it's not like Emma's done anything worth mentioning anyway. That's when I realized I'd spent 26 years being the ghost in my own family. But ghosts? They have a way of haunting you. My name is Emma. I'm 26 years old, and for most of my life, I've been the middle child nobody noticed. My older sister, Vanessa, is a corporate lawyer. 29, partner track. Always perfectly dressed. My younger brother Tyler's in med school. 23, and already published research. Me? I'm a freelance graphic designer, or as my family calls it, Emma's little art thing. I've been doing this for 3 years now, building a real business. But to them, it was never real. Growing up, my artwork never made it to the fridge. My parents were too busy displaying Vanessa's debate trophies and Tyler's science fair ribbons. At dinner, when I'd try to talk about a design I was excited about, my dad would cut me off to ask Vanessa about a case. I learned to stay quiet, to not take up space. I told myself I didn't need their validation, but every dismissal hurt more than I wanted to admit. I wasn't a lawyer or a doctor. I didn't have letters after my name or a corner office, but I had something they never expected. I had a voice they never bothered to listen to. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. Because what happened next changed everything. 2 weeks after Grandma's party, the family group chat lit up. "Urgent family meeting. Everyone must attend. Sunday 2 p.m. I almost ignored it. Almost. Then Mom texted me privately. "Everyone needs to be there. Important family news." So I showed up. I walked into my parents' living room and everyone was already seated. The couch, the armchairs, even the nice dining chairs from the other room. There was nowhere for me to sit. I had to walk back through the kitchen and grab the folding chair from the garage myself. Nobody got up. Nobody offered their seat. I set it up in the corner and sat down. Dad cleared his throat. He was standing by the fireplace like he was about to give a presentation. "Your grandmother has decided to establish a family foundation," he said. "She's donating a significant sum to support the next generation." My heart jumped. A foundation. Real money. Maybe this was my chance to finally launch the design studio I'd been dreaming about. Dad continued. "Vanessa will manage the legal structure, of course. She'll be compensated for her time." Vanessa smiled and nodded. "Tyler, a portion will fund your research. We're all very proud of your work." Tyler looked embarrassed but pleased. "And we're establishing college funds for Jamie and the twins." Dad kept talking. About structure, about goals, about legacy. My name never came up. I waited. Maybe he was saving me for last. He sat down. That was it. I couldn't stay quiet. Not this time. "What about me?" My voice sounded small. Dad looked surprised, like he'd forgotten I was there. "What about you, honey?" "I have a business plan. I've been wanting to expand. Maybe rent studio space." Mom cut me off. "Emma, this is for serious professional endeavors. Your doodling isn't what Grandma had in mind." The word hit me like a slap. Doodling. Vanessa didn't even look up from her phone. No offense, but graphic design isn't exactly building a legacy. Uncle Richard laughed from the couch. "Maybe when you get a real job, kiddo." My vision blurred. I refused to cry in front of them. I stood up. The folding chair scraped against the hardwood floor. I walked out. Nobody called after me. I made it to my car and fumbled with my keys. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't get them in the ignition. That's when I heard voices through the open living room window. Tyler's voice. I actually needed Emma's help with my research presentation design, but whatever. Dad's response made my blood freeze. She wouldn't have understood the science anyway. I sat in that car for 10 minutes before I could see well enough to drive. 3 weeks later, I was scrolling Instagram and saw photos of my entire family at Vincenzo's, the fancy Italian place downtown. Everyone dressed up. Vanessa in the middle, glowing. The caption, "Celebrating our brilliant girl's promotion to partner." I hadn't been invited. I stared at those photos for an hour. The next morning, Mom texted, "Sorry we didn't include you last night. We thought you'd be too busy with your little projects." My little projects. I tried to brush it off, tried to tell myself it didn't matter, but it cut deep. The following month, my cousin announced her engagement, big party at a hotel event space. I almost didn't go, but I went. I tried to blend in, tried to talk to relatives I hadn't seen in years. Aunt Carol spotted me by the appetizer table. "Emma, still doing your arts and crafts?" She said it loud enough that conversations around us stopped. "When are you getting a stable job like your sister?" Uncle Richard appeared with a drink in his hand. "At your age, Vanessa was making 6 figures. He laughed. "What are you making? Refrigerator art?" People laughed. Actually laughed. My face burned. My mother was standing right there. She didn't defend me. She just changed the subject. "Carol, you have to try the shrimp. They're incredible." I excused myself to the bathroom. I stood there, staring at myself in the mirror, shaking. But the worst was still coming. Dad called me 2 months later. First time he'd called in months. "Emma, honey, I need a favor." I should have said no. "The foundation is having a launch event. We need some brochures, programs, that sort of thing. Can you help?" I hesitated. "Dad, I usually charge for... It's for Grandma, sweetheart. For the family." I wanted it to be an olive branch, a sign they finally saw my work as valuable. So I said yes. I spent 2 weeks on those materials, designed everything from scratch. Beautiful layouts, professional printing. The night of the event, I walked in and saw my work everywhere. The programs, the banners, the display boards. It looked incredible. I picked up a program to see my name in the credits. Design team, various contributors. Various contributors. I found my dad talking to a donor. "Dad, the credit line." He barely glanced at me. "Not now, Emma. Can't you see I'm busy?" "You didn't put my name. We're all family. Did you expect payment? This is for Grandma." Vanessa appeared at his elbow, annoyed. "Don't be petty, Emma. This isn't about you." I walked away before I could scream. That's when I heard Mom talking to a guest 20 feet away. "Oh, we hired a design firm. Very professional work, don't you think?" A design firm? Not her daughter. A firm. I left before the speeches started. That night, I stopped answering the family group chat. 3 days later, I called a therapist. Her name was Dr. Patel. She had kind eyes and didn't take my excuses. 4th session, she asked me a question that broke something open. "When was the last time you felt truly valued by them?" I opened my mouth to answer. Nothing came out. I couldn't remember a single moment. Not one. "Emma," she said gently, "what are you waiting for?" "Their approval," I whispered. "I'm waiting for them to finally see me." "And if they never do?" I stared at her. "Then I need to stop waiting." Dr. Patel smiled. "What if you stopped trying to prove yourself to them and started proving something to yourself?" That question changed everything. What they didn't know was that while they were laughing at my arts and crafts, I was building something real. 3 months before Grandma's birthday party, I'd landed a contract with a mid-sized tech startup. They needed a complete brand redesign. Logo, website, marketing materials, everything. I poured everything into it. They loved it. That one project led to 3 referrals. Suddenly, I was getting corporate clients, real budgets, real deadlines. I was working nights and weekends, building a portfolio they never asked to see. One of my clients was a regional nonprofit. They needed a complete rebrand for their annual gala. The executive director loved my work so much, she submitted my name to a design conference as a keynote speaker. I almost deleted the email when they accepted me. Building a creative business when no one believes in you. That was my topic. The conference was 2 months away. I didn't tell my family. I also started documenting everything. Screenshots of dismissive texts, emails about my client work. I even recorded that family meeting on my phone. Not for revenge, for self-preservation. Dr. Patel had suggested it. Sometimes you need proof that you're not crazy, that what you experienced was real. I opened a separate bank account they didn't know about. My freelance revenue was growing, steadily climbing toward 6 figures. They had no idea. They'd spent so long not seeing me, they had no idea who I'd become. My friend Jenna was the first person I told. We met for coffee 3 weeks before the conference. She's a photographer. We went to college together. She took one look at me and knew something was wrong. Emma, what happened? I broke down, told her everything. Jenna was furious. You're literally thriving and they treat you like a failure? They don't know I'm thriving. Because they never ask. She grabbed my hand. You don't owe them updates. Let your work speak. She helped me prepare for the conference presentation. She also introduced me to her mentor, Patricia. Successful creative director who'd left the corporate world to build her own agency. Patricia's advice stayed with me. The best response to being underestimated is success. Not to prove them wrong, to prove yourself right. Meanwhile, the family group chat kept going without me. Mom texted, "Why are you being distant?" I kept it simple. "I'm busy with work." Vanessa replied in the group chat. "Must be nice to have such a flexible schedule." Tyler texted me privately. "Hey, are you okay? You've been quiet." I appreciated that he noticed. "I'm fine, just focused on my career." "Okay, let me know if you need anything." The family thought I'd finally given up trying to get their approval. They were relieved. 2 weeks before the conference, my tech startup client got acquired. The press release specifically mentioned the rebrand as key to their marketability. I received a bonus payment, $25,000. I stared at the number on my screen for 20 minutes. Then I got an email from a design industry publication. They wanted to interview me. The conference was in my hometown. Big industry event. Local news was covering it. My face was on the promotional materials. There was a chance they'd find out. I sent the conference details to Tyler. Only Tyler. Jenna asked me the night before, "What if they show up?" I took a breath. Then they'll finally see what they've been missing. Conference day. I arrived at the convention center early. My stomach was in knots. The keynote was scheduled for 2 in the afternoon. I walked through the exhibitor hall, trying to calm my nerves. Then I froze. Mom and Aunt Carol were standing at a vendor booth. Aunt Carol's stationery business. I'd forgotten she'd be here. I tried to turn around. "Emma, too late." Mom looked shocked to see me. "What are you doing here? I didn't know you liked conferences." I kept my voice calm. "I'm speaking this afternoon." Aunt Carol's smile was condescending. "Oh, how sweet. Like a little workshop?" "Keynote, actually." Mom's face shifted. "Keynote? Are you sure? That's usually for successful professionals." "Yes, I'm sure." Aunt Carol laughed awkwardly. Well, I'm sure it's a great opportunity for you to learn from the real speakers. I pulled out the conference program, opened it to the keynote page. My name, my photo, my topic. I handed it to them. Mom's face went pale. I don't understand. How did I get asked to keynote an industry conference? My voice was steady. By doing the work you told me wasn't a real career. Vanessa appeared behind them. She'd come to support Aunt Carol. Wait, you're actually speaking here? Surprised? I looked at all three of them. You shouldn't be. You've been ignoring what I do so long. You have no idea what I've accomplished. Vanessa got defensive. That's not fair. We just wanted you to be realistic. I cut her off. Realistic? Or invisible? Because that's what I was to all of you. Invisible. Mom reached for my arm. Honey, we've always supported... I stepped back. Don't rewrite history now that it's convenient. I pulled out my phone, opened my portfolio. I make more than you thought possible from arts and crafts. I have clients across 3 states. I was featured in Design Weekly last month. I swiped to the foundation materials. These? The ones Dad said were from a professional firm? I made them. And you erased me. Vanessa's voice shook. Why didn't you tell us? My eyes filled with tears, but my voice stayed steady. I tried. For 26 years, I tried. You just never listened. Mom's voice broke. We can talk about this at home. No. I shook my head. I'm done having conversations where you make me feel small. I came here to speak to people who value what I do. You're welcome to attend. If you can handle hearing me be celebrated. I turned and walked away. My hands were trembling, but I kept my head high. Behind me, Aunt Carol whispered. I had no idea. Mom's voice, broken. Neither did I. 2 hours later, I stood backstage. Jenna squeezed my hand. You've got this. The MC called my name. I walked onto that stage. The lights were bright. I couldn't see faces at first. Then my eyes adjusted. Front rows. Industry professionals, creative directors, potential clients. Back row. Mom, Vanessa, Aunt Carol sitting very still, and Tyler. He'd slipped in too. I took a breath, and I started talking. I told my story, the real one, about building a business while being told I was wasting my time, about creating work I was proud of while people I loved called it doodling, about learning that the people closest to me couldn't see my worth. So I stopped waiting. For permission, I said. The room was silent. I stopped asking them to see me, and I started seeing myself. When I finished, the room exploded. Standing ovation. I stood there, overwhelmed, tears streaming down my face. Afterward, 3 creative directors gave me their cards. Tyler pushed through the crowd and hugged me. I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you more. I hugged him back. You're here now. That matters. Mom and Vanessa approached slowly. Mom's eyes were red. Emma, I'm so sorry. I had no idea we made you feel invisible, worthless, like nothing I did mattered. Vanessa's voice was quiet. We were wrong. I was wrong. I nodded. Yeah, you were. Mom reached for me. Can we fix this? Please? I took a breath. I don't know. Maybe. But not today, and not on your terms. I need space. I need you to understand that your approval isn't what makes me valuable. I already am. Vanessa nodded. We understand. Do you? I looked at both of them. Because this isn't about one apology. It's about years of being erased. Mom reached for my hand. I let her briefly. I love you, but I won't let you make me small anymore. I left the conference with Jenna. That night, I sat at home looking at photos from the presentation. My phone buzzed. Email from the conference organizers. We'd love to have you keynote next year's event in New York. I smiled. Not for them, for myself. For years, I thought I needed them to notice me to matter. But standing on that stage, looking at strangers who valued my work, I realized I'd already been seen. Just not by them. And for once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. If this story hit home for you, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I read every single one. Have you ever been the invisible one in your family? The one whose dreams were called cute or unrealistic? Share your story below. Your experience matters, and this community sees you. Sometimes the people who should celebrate us the most are the ones who can't see us at all. But that doesn't mean we stop shining. Thanks for listening to my story. Next time, I'll be back with another one. Until then, remember, you don't need permission to be extraordinary. Stay strong, stay true, and I'll see you in the next one.